If you've ever used a copy machine to make enlargements or reductions of images, you're already familiar with the concept of scale. Just like we can make our images larger or smaller by using a copy machine, we can make our geometry larger or smaller by using the scale command. On my screen, I have a drawing of 3 chairs. Let's reduce this chair on the left down to half its current size. To do that, I'll use the scale command. Scale is located in the Modify panel of the ribbon. After I launch the command, I'll select the objects I'd like to resize, and then I'll right-click. Next, I'll select my base point. The base point is the point about which my part is going to get larger or smaller. I'm going to select the end point right here. And notice as I drag my cursor, I get the rubber band effect. At this point, I could free pick a point on screen to resize this geometry, or I could enter a value. Now, the default value is 1, and 1 represents no change. It's a 1-to-1 scale. To make this geometry half as big, I'm going to use a scale factor of 0.5, and I'll hit enter. Let's make another change. This time I'm going to make this chair on the right twice as big as its current size. To do that, I'll press the space bar to relaunch the scale command. I will then select the objects I'd like to resize and right-click. Then I'll choose my base point. I'm going to select the end point right here this time. Notice that the base point is the only part of the object that doesn't move. By choosing my base point at the end of this leg, I can ensure that my chair will always remain sitting on this horizontal line. Now, to make this chair twice as big, I'm going to use a scale factor of 2, and I'll hit enter. As you can see, the scale command can make quick work out of design changes. The scale command also comes in handy if we have trouble with our drawing units. Let's look at an example. I'm going to close this drawing. I won't save changes. And then I'll move up and click the Open icon. We'll look inside the Exercise Files folder, and it will go inside the Chapter 9 directory. And I'd like to open these 2 drawings. I'll select Racket, and then I'll hold my Shift key, and I'll select Court, and then I'll click Open. This opens both drawings in my interface. And now that they're both open, I'd like to view them side by side. To do that, I'll click the View tab, then I'll come down to the Windows panel, and I'll select Tile Vertically. All right, let's clean up our screen a little bit. Currently, the focus is on this drawing on the left, so I'm going to pan this over and center it a little bit better. Then I'll click in this window to put the focus over here. I'll zoom out a little bit, and I'll pan this drawing over. Now, this drawing on the right represents a standard tennis court, and this drawing was created such that each unit equals 1 foot. Let's verify that quickly. I'll open up the application menu. I'll come over to Drawing Utilities, and I'll select Units. We can see that right there. Each unit equals 1 foot. Let's click OK. Now I'll click in this drawing on the left. We'll take a look at this one. This drawing represents a standard tennis racket, and this drawing was created such that each unit equals 1 inch. Once again, we'll verify that quickly. We can see that right there. I'm going to click to select this geometry, and then I'll click and hold on a highlighted portion, and I'll drag this into the other drawing. And notice the problem. The tennis racket is huge. You see, AutoCAD only sees units. In this drawing, the racket measured 26. Well, that 26 represented 26 inches. When the racket came over, it still measures 26, except in this drawing, it's 26 feet, which is 12 times larger than it needs to be. To correct this geometry, I'm going to use the Scale command. So I'm going to jump back to the Home tab. I'll launch Scale, and I'll select my racket and right-click. I will use the endpoint down here for my base point. And for my scale factor, I'm going to type 1/12, and I'll hit enter. Then I'll launch the Move command, and I'll select my racket and right-click. I'll pick it up from any endpoint, and then I'll zoom over on the right side of the drawing because I have another racket over here, and I'll click and place my scaled racket right next to it. And as you can see, the geometry is now appropriately sized for this drawing. Whether we need to resize our entities as part of a design change or to correct a difference in drawing units, we can accurately make our geometry larger or smaller by using the Scale command.